Hello and welcome to another tarot video from me. So today's topic is going to be predictions for the month of May. As usual, I have chosen these crystals intuitively. I have meditated upon the question and then I asked Spirit which crystals I should use for this reading. And these are the ones that came out in this particular order. So this is for those of you who would like to choose with just crystals. Pile number 1, you have the amethyst crystal. Pile number 2, you have this unakite crystal. Pile number 3, you have this purple agate crystal. All right, let me zoom in. So these are your options for those of you who would like to choose with crystals. And you can pause the video if you need more time to decide. My recommendation, once again, is that you take some deep breaths, meditate upon the question, exhale longer than you inhale, and then open your eyes and choose the first pile that stands out to you intuitively without overthinking it. And if you feel drawn to more than one pile, feel free to watch several or even all of them and just take whichever messages resonate. Before I sign off, I will... Whoops, sorry about that. Before I sign off, I will remind you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already and click on the notifications bell if you want to see when I will upload a new video. I will see you at your reading. So this is for those of you who would like to choose with a card as well as a crystal. This is going to be the selection part for the card. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What will the month of May bring for pile number 1? Tell me about pile number 2, the unakite. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3, the purple agate. What will the month of May bring for the purple agate? Tell me, Spirit. So we have this card, number 25, and this is Wands. Basically, the number 1 of, I think this is the number 1 of, I don't know what it's called in English, but it looks like Wands. It's either the number 1 or it's the J, actually. Any case, this is fire energy. So number 25, and also there's a ring on it. So pile number 1, there's your card. Pile number 2, you have this card with the number 16 and what looks to be the 5 of Cups on it. Yep. Actually, no, it's not the 5, it's the 6. Sorry, but these cards are new and I'm trying to get the hang of them. Pile number 3, you have this card with something that looks to be the Knight of Swords and the number 10. All right. So these are your options. Let me try to zoom in. All right, so these are your options if you would like to choose with a card as well as a crystal. So pile number 1, you have this card over here and or this amethyst crystal. Sorry about the alarms in the background. Pile number 2, you have this card over here and or this unakite crystal. Pile number 3, you have this card over here and or this agate, this purple agate crystal. All right, so these are your options. You can pause the video if you need more time to decide. I will once again remind you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. It is the easiest way to support me and it is free. Also consider clicking the notifications bell if you want to see when I will upload a new video. And yes, my recommendation is that you take some deep breaths, some meditation time, exhale longer than you inhale while concentrating upon the question. You can also address it to a higher power and then let your mind go blank a little bit with your eyes closed and then open your eyes and choose the first pile that stands out to you intuitively without overthinking it. If you feel drawn to more than one pile, you are free to watch several or even all of them and just take whichever messages resonate. I will see you at your reading. All right, pile number 1. This is your reading if you have chosen this amethyst crystal and or this card. which I think is the J, honestly, the J of Wands, which is something like Page or Knight of Wands energy. Anyway, it has number 25 on it, which boils down to a 7 in numerology, which is key to energy. So this is the card selection / shuffling phase. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What is the month of May 2024 bringing for them? Spirit, what is the month of May 2024 bringing in for pile number 1? Let's see. The Page of Cups, Queen of Swords, Two of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. Wow, the Two of Cups. All right, so there is a possibility of some new romantic interest. I can already see that, but let's see what else is gonna come through for pile number 1. Let's see. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What is the month of May 2024 going to bring for pile number 1? Tell me. Tell me about pile number 1, the people who chose the amethyst. What is the month of May 2024 going to bring for them? The High Priestess, the Four of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, the Seven of Cups. All right, the Moon. I accidentally pulled out another card. Wow, the Seven of Swords. Okay. Already I can tell that there's a lot of number 7 coming through. All right, let me get some oracle cards. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What's going to happen for them in the month of May? What is coming in for my pile number 1 in the month of May? Tell me, Spirit. Okay, we have support. And we have karmic relationship, number 24. So I definitely think romance is somehow coming to the forefront for you, pile number 1, because there are multiple indicators that you might be going through something romantically. You have this initial card, which has a wedding ring on it. I mean, it looks like a wedding ring with the number 25, though. And we also have the Two of Cups over here. Interestingly, we also have the Seven of Swords. So, and the Seven of Cups here. Right off the bat, I really feel like many of you, honestly, have been daydreaming about a particular person. And I feel like there's a pretty distinct message here that a lot of you are not going to like, which is that Spirit is telling you you have to stop dreaming about some kind of an impossible relationship. And this is obviously for those of you who already have someone on your mind romantically and you know that it may not be going anywhere, or this is a person that just cannot give you the kind of relationship that you want. I am seeing a theme of deception here, so potentially there is like a third-party situation for some of you, like you might be interested in someone who is already in a relationship. I'm not seeing it so much as you being in a relationship, although that could be a possibility. But I'm thinking for most of you, for whom this resonates, this is about you liking someone who's already in a relationship. And Spirit is telling you basically that you're going to be, basically the message that I'm getting here is that you need to be careful not to keep your head in the clouds and be overly fixated on a dream and miss some opportunity that is going to be presented to you. because we have the Two of Cups here with the moon. So this is showing that there might be a new relationship coming like there might be a new romantic partner coming into your life, a potential romantic partner in the month of May, or you could be meeting a new person. And Spirit is saying that this is definitely someone new, so not either someone you have never met before or someone that you have not had a romantic relationship of any kind with. So this person could be coming in for you in the month of May, but if you are fixated on the past, or you're like, let's say you're in limerence. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of limerence. It's basically when you overly fantasize on a person and you create this romantic scenario in your head that is not based on reality, basically. So if you were like in limerence or some kind of a crazy infatuation that has minimal chances of realizing, you could miss out on a serious opportunity this month. This is what I'm trying to say here, and this is what I'm getting. This is like the main idea that I'm getting here. On the plus side, for many of you, you're very creative, you're very intuitive, and you are in a very fertile, for lack of a better word, stage mentally and emotionally, where you have massive creative potential. Your intuition is very sharp, so you could be getting a lot of sharp insights during this time, or you could be getting creative ideas that are very valuable that you can use to improve your life or to, let's say, make more money, your career, anything else. I also am seeing that many of you are in a pretty soft feminine energy this month, predominantly. A very kind of wise feminine energy. Yeah, I'm also seeing some kind of a stubbornness, like you are overly critical, like mentally you're overly critical, but on the plus side, again, of being overly critical, you really are firm on your boundaries. So this is a positive for you this month, that many of you, even if you are the kind of person maybe who didn't have clear boundaries in the past with respect to relationships to other people, this month you're really being firm and putting your foot down and basically making it known to other people that you're not going to take crap, and you're really focused on getting exactly what you want without wasting time on, things that are not serving you, minus the potential infatuation that I saw initially, right? So I feel like that infatuation is a blind spot. Yeah. And also, speaking of this infatuation, okay, this relationship, by the way, obviously I'm saying that it could be coming through for you in May, but even if it's not coming through in May, the message here is that with the moon underneath, is that you need to clear out your emotional issues in order to make way for a healthy relationship to take place in your life. And I feel like, again, because there's so much, there are so many messages of you basically being inside your head a lot and, being very, I guess, infatuated. There's no other way to put it. For many of you, like I said, this is especially for those of you who know that you are infatuated with someone that you are not in a serious monogamous relationship with, right? So basically, Spirit is telling you that until you learn to treat your childhood traumas, you're not going to be able to have this kind of Two of Cups relationship here. This is why the moon is sitting here, because you are too stuck in your head and you're too unconscious to realize when a good partner is going to come along. So I feel like Spirit is definitely telling you to pay special attention to this and maybe seek therapy or just do more work with respect to understanding yourself, maybe reading books on psychology, things like that. Yeah, and it's kind of like going hand in hand with the rest of the reading, because this month is supposed to be a time of purposefulness and clarity for many of you. We also have the Two of Pentacles here, so I see that many of you are going to continue working on building new skills. I think many of you are going to have multiple opportunities for making money, getting a job. You could be juggling multiple activities at the same time. So Spirit is telling you that it is really important to focus on managing your resources, especially your time. Make sure that you get enough rest, but you still pursue your interest and your long-term goals. I see that collaboration could be particularly important this month, especially professionally. So really specifically, some of you might get, this could be a job offer, or you might get the opportunity to network in order to get a job. So you should take that opportunity. For those of you who are maybe self-employed or you're having a side hustle, you could be presented with an opportunity to have some kind of a contract, like maybe, I don't know, investors, advertisers, people who want to help you out. Basically, you might enter in some kind of a mutually beneficial arrangement this month with respect to your professional life that could, bring you more money. We also have the Six of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. So I feel like overall Spirit is giving you a pat on the back with respect to your overall life path and trajectory, like you are heading in the right direction. The Six of Pentacles is also speaking of you becoming more generous, more service-oriented. This is also a time to really cultivate these qualities, so it would be good for you to give back to your community in some way, or give back to other people, whether it's through volunteer work or, donating money or helping out people as much as you can, without expecting too much in return. And all of these things are basically going to come back for you, tenfold, like karmically, I mean. So you're going to be repaid for the good deeds that you are going to be doing. And while obviously this is a general truth, it's especially true this month, I feel. And we have the Nine of Cups. So this is like saying that many of you are heading towards a lot of happiness. You're very much prioritizing your happiness. And this is why it's a good idea to purge any kind of hangups from the past that might be, really getting in your way, with respect to progress. I do see that a potential, another potential setback for you this month could be not just with respect to relationships, but also overall with respect to finances, chasing too many things at the same time. So it's really important for you to prioritize the things that are going to pay back, give you the best return on your investment with respect to where you put your time, your energy into, right? So instead of like going for a ton of things at the same time, make sure you go for one or two things, see how much you can handle while planning your time. And think about which one of these are actually returning on your investment of time and energy. And, basically try to declutter in order to maximize your financial profits this month. This could also very specifically be referring to actual financial investments for those of you who have investments. So I don't know if you've invested or you're thinking of investing money in multiple things. You should be thinking about, really narrowing it down to the ones that have the best chances of success, maybe taking some financial advice and all that, rather than scattering your resources. On the plus side, this could also mean that you will have multiple opportunities. So it's like, there are two sides to the same coin, basically. It's like, I feel like many opportunities are going to be presented to you this month, especially with respect to finances and career. And you might be like a kid in a candy store, like you don't even know which one to get to first, because you want to get all of them at the same time. So this is why Spirit is telling you to be rational and to think things through, rather than throw yourself headfirst impulsively into everything that is shiny and new, just because you think that you might be missing out on an opportunity if you don't. So try to be realistic, basically, with your resources and what you want to invest your energy in. Yeah, so there could be also a risk of deception. I'm definitely seeing that many of you are going to be inside your heads a lot. You know, you might also potentially feel more isolated than usual. But I feel like for most of you, this is a good isolation. This is not you being really depressed about, you know, lack of support, but rather you are taking time off from the world to focus on your own thing. So the plus, another bonus point, plus side, however you want to look at for this month, is that you will have a lot of support because of this card. So I feel like Spirit is also telling you to not neglect your non-romantic relationships and maybe seek to spend time with the people that are truly on your side, who want to help you out. With the karmic relationship, like I said, I feel like for some of you, this could be literally that you have been in a bad relationship. So this is a good time to rethink that. If you have been into a bad relationship that is eating up your time and your resources and is not really, you know, in alignment with your greater purpose, your overall satisfaction in life. So I don't think it's necessarily that you're going to enter. I don't feel like the karmic relationship is this one signified by the Two of Cups. This is something new. I feel like this is the promise that you are given if you do the work of understanding yourself. And basically purging, you know, childhood traumas and wounds and past traumas. It doesn't have to be childhood, you know, but it's like you need to work through your subconscious and figure out how you're being influenced by past experiences and emotions in the present, and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes again. And maybe like write down a clear list for what you want in a relationship and just seek people that are exactly in accordance with that list. All right, this is what I'm seeing here. So let me get some astrological cards as well. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What is the month of May 2024 bringing for them? What is the month of May 2024 bringing for pile number 1? So let me see. We have conjunction, fusion, and energy. We have the sun, essence, and personality. We have Neptune, dreams and spirit. We have the 5th house, joy and play. And we have Uranus, which is change and new beginnings. So Uranus rules Aquarius in tropical astrology, and Neptune rules Pisces. So also we have a lot of sun energy because the 5th house is also ruled by the sun. And the 5th house is about hobbies and everything that has to do with what you love to do. It's also connected to the heart chakra. The sun energy is connected to the heart chakra. The sun stands for confidence and vitality. Very specifically, it also stands for the heart, the cardiovascular system. So this is a good month for you to work through any issues you have with anything connected to the sun. So building up the sun energy. So this could be about you working on your vitality, not wasting your energy, like I said, on things that are not really serving you in the long term, that are not serving your higher purpose and destiny, because the sun is also one of the planets connected to your ultimate destiny in this lifetime, what you're meant to experience. So 5th house also speaks of finding what you love, focusing more on hobbies and having fun and relaxing, but it also speaks of study. So this is a good month for study, for education, and it also speaks of potential investments, like I said. So this is kind of a confirmation of what I said. So I feel like for some of you, you have to learn to invest this month. For some of you, you may have already thought about it. So it's a good idea maybe to, you know, consult yourself with someone about how to invest your money. Or it could be just, a good time for any kind of financial transactions, especially speculative gains, but I wouldn't get too carried away with it either way. We also have the conjunction, which speaks of, there's a lot of vitality, there's a lot of energy this month So I feel like many of you are just going to be less wasteful with your time and your energy, basically, which is a good thing. And the Uranus or Aquarius energy speaks of being proud of who you are, an individualist, but also figuring out ways that you can serve society through your unique gifts. And to me, the Neptune is the Page of Cups that came out initially. So this is an energy of basically a lot of intuition, a lot of creativity. So fifth house and Neptune, both of them are creativity. So you could be getting some really creative ideas this month that maybe you should be acting on. Many of you could be discovering a new hobby, or you might be getting an idea to spend more time with a particular hobby. And or it could be like developing a side hustle. So I feel like all of these activities are being favored this month. Fifth house, by the way, is also the house of romance, especially romance, not so much marriage. So again, I see this as a confirmation, like some of you might be having more romance this month. Like there could be some new opportunity for a relationship, but obviously it doesn't have to be 100%. A lot depends on you. And it's also activities connected to children and maybe having children as well. So this could be like a nudge in the right direction. For instance, if you're trying to conceive, or if you already have children, this is a good time to spend more time with them. If this is, if you're not interested in children at all, this could be about you healing the inner child and getting back in touch with that carefree, joyful energy of doing things for fun. Last but not least, I think that for some of you, this could be about healing some kind of a father wound. Actually, all childhood wounds, but especially father wound because of the sun energy. And I also think for many of you, you're going to have an increase in recognition and status this month, so you could be reaching out to more people. Like you could be getting more business if you are self-employed, or you could be getting more recognition at work if you are employed. So somehow you might be getting more fame. And overall, I feel like emotionally you're going to be in a pretty good state. Like there's a lot of optimism. All right, let me get the Astro dice as well. Spirit, what's coming in for pile number 1 in the month of May? Tell me, Spirit. Oops. Okay, that one just fell out. So this one fell on, oh my God, confirmations. We have the number 1 again, and we have the sun again, and we have Sagittarius. So there's a lot of fire energy here. And number 1 has to deal again with the sun energy, but it also has to deal with the Mars energy. So overall, there's a lot of masculine energy for you this month. Irrespective of your gender, you're going to be into your masculine energy a lot, being a go-getter, developing leadership abilities maybe, really desiring to stand out and to just see your visions fulfilled. And definitely a lot of creativity. And the Sagittarius, again, reinforces the idea that this is a great month for things like travel, like education, developing your higher understanding, like getting into things like philosophy, religion, anything that has to do with developing a broad view of the world, getting out in nature, hiking. Number 1 also speaks of the physical body. So I feel like the physical, and again, number 1 is also about the self. So I definitely think for most of you are being called to develop yourself, to focus on your own development, to put yourself first, basically. And also to take care of your physical body, take care of your health, your fitness, your vitality. So I see that the vitality is going to increase, but it's not going to be supernatural. It's probably a natural consequence of the fact that you are really focused on building up your strength and you're taking care of your body more than usual. All right, so this is pretty much what I have for you, pile number one. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, don't forget to like, subscribe, click on the notifications bell if you want to see when I will post a new video, and if you're interested in supporting my channel further, you can do so by clicking on the join button, becoming a member, in exchange for a small monthly fee that you can pay in exchange for some perks, which you will see if you click on the join button. If you're interested in getting a private tarot reading, check out the video description. I have left my contact information there. I've also left a link to reviews that I have gotten for private readings before if you're curious to see them. And last but not least, I also have an astrology channel where I focus mainly on Vedic astrology, but also with some tropical insights. And yeah, if you're curious about astrology, I'm going to be linking it in the video description. Go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you in my next tarot reading. Bye! Welcome, pile number two. This is your reading if you have chosen this card over here, which is Six of Hearts, which is Six of Pentacles energy. Sorry, Six of Cups energy. And you also have the number 16, which boils down to a number 7, numerologically. And or you have this Unakite card, crystal, sorry. This is going to be the card selection phase. I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip directly to the reading. Spirit, tell me about pile. What the heck? This one just flipped over and wanted to come out. So, Spirit, tell me about pile number 2, the people who choose the Unakite. What is the month of May 2024 bringing for them for pile number 2? What do they need to hear right now? We have the Nine of Swords, the King of Cups, the Hierophant, Seven of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, all right. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2, the people who chose the Unakite crystal. What is the month of May 2024 going to bring for them? Spirit, tell me, what is the month of May 2024 going to bring for pile number 2? So we have the Six of Swords, have the Queen of Cups, the Fool, the Nine of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Death card. Okay, let me get some oracle cards. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. What do they need to hear about the month of May 2024? Communication, number 10. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. What do they need to hear about the month of May 2024? We have Innocence. All right. Makes sense because we have the Six of Cups. So pile number 2, you have this card with Innocence, this card with Communication, and the number 10, and the original card, which has the Six of Hearts on it, which is basically Six of Cups energy, and the number 16, which boils down to a number 7 numerologically, which I associate with Ketu energy in Vedic astrology. Ketu, or south node of the moon. All right, so pile number 2, can I just say that I see starting out in this month of May, you're not in the best state of mind, to be honest. I see that you are someone who's very stoic, very rational. I think in recent history, you have gone through some rough stuff. I see that things are slowly getting better for you, but it is, yeah, it's a slow, painful process. And I still see that you have a lot of anxiety. I feel like you have gone through a lot emotionally. Maybe you're just a really sensitive person. And I don't mean this like in a bad way, because I know that sensitivity nowadays is being you know, marked as weakness, or there's something wrong with people for being sensitive. I don't believe that at all. But it is true that some people are more sensitive than average and things affect them more deeply. So I feel like you're that kind of a person that is really sensitive. And on top of that, you have probably gone through a lot of things that have forced you to ignore your feelings for a long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're someone who has had like some really intense repressed feelings coming forward in recent history. Maybe you have had a lot of instances of anxiety or even panic attacks or insomnia. So a lot of things that would be labeled as mental health issues, and most likely that has come from repressed emotions. Can I just say this right off the bat? I see that there is a healing happening. So this is recent history and it's going to be ongoing throughout the month of May, that you are basically healing your heart chakra. You're opening up emotionally. You're purging all the negative emotions that you have kept basically bottled up for a long time. And because of this purging, you are opening up your heart and your soul and everything, your heart chakra, if you want to think of it like that, for new experiences, for positive emotions, for optimism. So I see that you are basically clearing out the old negative, stale emotions and you're opening up for new emotions. And throughout the month of May, you're kind of going through a reawakening of your enthusiasm, of your desire for life and things you want to experience. Some of you might discover that you are more hedonistic. You suddenly might want things again that you haven't wanted for a long time, or things that are, all of a sudden an interest that you haven't had for maybe never in your life. Like you're discovering new hobbies, new interests. I see that there's a kind of um, a touch of naivete. There's a touch of naivete. So I would give you a fair warning to be careful not to get taken advantage of. But if you manage to understand that your sensitivity is not a weakness, you're actually looking at basically the beginning of a beautiful friendship with yourself, first and foremost. So you're looking at more happiness and more fulfillment because you're going to stay true to yourself without having to fear that you're going to be attacked and taken advantage of on a regular basis. I see that basically your faith is also getting stronger this month, a strong sense of faith. So this is irrespective of whether you are religious or not. It's just going to be like a reawakening of having that sense of just believing in yourself and believing in your dreams. And you are getting in touch with spirituality as well. The funny thing though is, not funny actually, it makes sense. Some of you are really fighting against a tradition or social pressure somehow. This could be really specific. So for some of you, it could be like your family circle that has put you in a box and you are breaking free from it. You are not just like breaking free in the sense that you might be distancing physically from your family, but you are also finally breaking free from the imprints of your family, from the shackles that, other people's perceptions have put you in, and you are finding your faith basically. Some of you, more specifically, might be fighting against a certain organized religion that you were raised into, and you are realizing you're kind of like questioning things, maybe not necessarily being super aggressive about it, but you are really starting to question some kind of beliefs or traditions that you have been raised with up until this point. There is a warning, and this part is a bit similar to pile number 1, so if you feel drawn to it, you might want to check it out, but only if you feel drawn to it. But there is a theme of potentially going for everything that shines. You know what they say, not everything that shines is gold, I think, something like that. Not all that glitters is gold, yeah. So there is kind of a warning here from Spirit that you shouldn't be scattering your attentions, especially when it comes to your finances and your career, on too many endeavors at the same time. So it's really important for you to you know, instead of like getting scattering your energy, try to think about what is really most important to you. What do you want to achieve in the long term? And, you know, try to basically cut things off of your to-do list and focus instead on the few things that you really enjoy. You might also be really getting a lot of opportunities financially. So maybe you'll get like more than one job offer, or if you're someone who has a side hustle or your own business, you might be getting more business opportunities. So it's important for you to stay discerning and not, you know, throw yourself headfirst into everything and, you know, bite on more than you can chew, basically. That being said, though, there by the end of the month, I see a huge transformation happening with respect to your like overall mental health, and also with respect to your finances, because we have the Queen of Pentacles clarified by death. So there's some kind of huge transformation happening where you are starting out being more like hyper rational, defensive, you know, maybe stuck in analysis paralysis a lot, and like being closed off, although, you know, still very sharp and intellectual. But by the end of the month, you learn to relax a little bit. You might be having more of a stable financial situation. And you also are going to be more at peace mentally and emotionally. So I see more emotional stability, more mental clarity, you know, like you're going to feel. And also with the Queen of Pentacles and the imagery here, I feel like there's maybe a calling of getting back in touch with nature, because Queen of Pentacles energy to me is like Taurus. It's also the other earth signs like Virgo and Capricorn, but especially Taurus, you know, it's like this very earthy energy. So getting in touch with the elements might be particularly beneficial for you, I mean. So yeah, it would help your mental health, your emotional health, and all that. So getting in touch with nature. We also have like, yeah, the overall significance of this innocence. I mean, it is repeated, this theme that I was talking about. I feel like many of you have been closed off for a long time, and for some of you, it may have led to significant mental issues in recent history. And you're going through this healing process right now. This is like the main theme that I am getting for you. Pile number 2. So let me get some astrological cards. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 2? What is the month of May bringing for them? The Unakite crystal. What is the month of May bringing for my pile number 2? So we have Saturn. Limits and lessons. We have square, challenge, and disharmony. We have 8th house, transformation and mystery. So that's the death card. We have Capricorn, the boss. Okay, so we have some Capricorn going on. 3rd house, communication and interaction. So, oh my God, we have communication again with the number 10 here. So because we have Capricorn, Saturn, the Saturn energy is telling me that you will have slow and steady progress, and it's really important for you to not get disheartened and not fall into the trap of expecting quick results. I feel like that's also why you have the 7 of Cups here. You know, like, don't just expect things to be perfect overnight, and understand that, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, that kind of mentality. It's really important for you to plan to make the most of your resources, of your time. Don't waste your time on things that are not serving you in the long term, which doesn't mean that you should never take time to enjoy yourself, but you have to put things into perspective. Again, particularly on this topic of make sure that you're not overly focused on endeavors that are, you know, not serving you just because you're afraid of passing up on an opportunity. And because of the Saturn energy, this is also telling me that, you know, you're going to have to work hard. It's like with Saturn wants to see effort, wants to see thoroughness. All right. So whatever you're doing right now, basically Saturn has an eye on you this month. So you are going to be getting progress in your career, in your finances. if you are putting in the work. Everything is going to be directly proportional. Every time that you are not, fair in your dealings, or you're not fair with yourself, you're not honest with yourself, you're going to be taxed for it, all right? So Saturn is also called the Lord of Karma sometimes. This is why, it's kind of like, yeah, Saturn is like basically the eye of Sauron, basically watching you all the time. So you need to be careful about doing things right, thoroughly. Don't leave anything to chance, basically just plan things down to the details and you will get the best results. This is how Saturn wants it to be. And with square, challenge, and disharmony, I feel like this has to do more with maybe an inner challenge. The square energy speaks of, yeah, as it says, basically disharmony. So you could be someone who has like significant squares in your horoscope, so there could be like paradoxical sides of yourself that are in conflict. So it could also be that you might run into people, because we have communication twice. It could be that you run into people that either trigger you, they might trigger you emotionally because you have traumas, or it could be that these people just come from a very different worldview, different educational background, maybe different race, culture, so on. So you have to be really careful about how you communicate with them, and take the path of diplomacy and try to put yourself in this other person's shoes at all times, because that's the way that you avoid the bad karma and the judgment from Saturn, and stay fair as much as possible. Since communication is also coming through and there's so much focus on earth energy, I feel like communication is going to be especially important for you when it comes to your professional life trajectory and money. So this could be like you would do well in a job where you use communication a lot. Some of you may already be working in some line of work where you focus on communication a lot. So if that makes sense, it's definitely a very specific message for you, because it's telling you that you're going to increase your chances of success by developing your communication skills, or just communicating a lot, so this makes me think of, for instance, being a teacher, but it doesn't have to be just a teacher, because many people have to communicate a lot for their work. Could be like a salesperson, could be a psychotherapist, because we also have the 8th house here. That's another thing. The 8th house is a very strong confirmation of the death energy. You're going through some massive transformation, and there's going to be a significant transformation happening by the end of the month, basically. And I feel like for most of you, it's going to be connected to your finances, career, all right? Even if that is not happening, it's going to be on a mental, emotional plane. So like I said, you might be going through a stabilization of your emotions. You're going to be getting more clarity, more health, especially if you have struggled with mental and emotional health in recent history. We also have the 8th house suggests a relationship with in-laws for those of you who are married. So the relationship with your in-laws might be at the forefront this month. Maybe you're going to see your in-laws more than usual. The 8th house also has to do with joint assets with your spouse if you're married. So you might be dealing, you might be getting into investments, something to do, or maybe you're discussing how you're going to manage your finances with your spouse. And 8th house is also about digging deep, and it's also about the occult. So many of you, again, if you are working in something to do with 8th house matters, which are occult, transformation, restoration, working with resources of all kind, managing resources, joint assets, managing money, finances, banking, insurance, so anything to do with death is connected to the 8th house. Sexuality also is somehow connected to the 8th house. Research of any kind, right? So if you are working in any of these fields, you're going to be particularly favored. And I think there's an extra message that you might be getting more money, more professional opportunities during this time. If this is not the case at all, and actually for all of you, irrespective of whether this applies or not, this is a good month for you to dig deep into things, not leave things at face value, and instead research, think for yourself. If you have any ideas of research or topics that you want to get into, this is a great time to do that. You know, like, I don't know, you've always wanted to learn more about, I don't know, like the Mayan Empire, for instance, just giving you a random example. This is a good month to focus on those things. Third house also speaks of siblings, short-term, short-distance travels. So these could again come to the forefront. You might be traveling a bit in this month, especially like I said, short distance or short term. And third house is also the house of courage in Vedic astrology. So you're going to get more courage, more determination in this month. All right, so let me get the astro dice finally. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. What is the month of May 2024 bringing for pile number 2? Okay, we have Taurus. This is a very strong confirmation of what I said with the Queen of Pentacles, so more earth energy. We also have number 7 again, which makes me think of Ketu, but 7 can also be the 7th house, which is the house of partnership and marriage. We also have Jupiter, which is the great benefic. So Jupiter energy makes me think that this is a great month of opportunity. So it's basically confirming a lot of the things that I've already said. Jupiter is also connected to any kind of educational field, teaching, learning, especially higher education, college level and above. So any kind of activities connected to this would be especially favored for you this month. Or if you are already working in some of these fields, you're going to be favored again. You might be getting more opportunities. Jupiter is also faith and optimism, and it's also finances, financial opportunities, and it's also travel. So again, some of you could be getting into travel. It's also connected to marriage. It's actually, I mean, marriage and children. Yeah, so we have like 7th house and Jupiter. So I feel like this is not so much for people meeting, like, again, for some of you it could actually be about you meeting someone significant this month, but I don't think it's like going to be like you're going to meet someone and get into a relationship right away. So for those of you who are single, you might actually, someone might come into your life that is going to be a potential long-term partner. But I feel like this is especially for those of you who are already in long-term partnerships and or married, that, you know, the relationships are going to come to the forefront. So this is a good time to, let's say, rethink, I don't know, the roles in your marriage, the dynamics in your marriage, maybe going to therapy, couples therapy. 7th house is also sexuality to some extent. So some of you could be more interested in sexuality this month. We also have the 8th house, so that's further confirmation. Taurus, again, is a confirmation of getting in touch with nature, with the earth. So also in learning to enjoy the small pleasures of life, because Taurus is very hedonistic. And it's all about enjoying everything that comes through the 5 senses. And Taurus, again, is kind of an energy of inertia. So it speaks of things moving slowly and steadily in your favor. And last but not least, one thing that I can say with Jupiter and Taurus is you need to watch out not to overindulge in sweets and food in general, because you might have a tendency to put on weight. Yeah. And this is pretty much what I have for you, pile number 2. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Click on the notifications bell to see when I will upload a new video. Comment in the comment section with anything you would like to share about this topic or ideas for future topics that you would like me to cover. Also, if you're interested in a private tarot reading, check out the video description. I have left more information about that there. I've also left a link to reviews that I have gotten for private readings before if you're curious to see them. And if you would like to further support my channel, you can become a member and support my channel through a small monthly fee in exchange for some perks, which you will see detailed when you click on the join button. And last but not least, I have an astrology channel, and I focus on Vedic astrology mainly, but also with some tropical insights. I have more than 20 years of experience in reading horoscopes up until this point. So yeah, if you're interested in astrology, go ahead and check out the link that I will leave in the video description. Maybe subscribe to my astrology channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you at my next tarot reading. Bye! Welcome, pile number 3. This is your reading if you have chosen this card over here with number 10 and what I think is the King either the King or the Knight of Swords. We have the B of, I don't know what it's called. I don't know what these are called, honestly, and the suits are called in English, but anyway, I feel like this is Swords energy, definitely, so it could be the Knight or the King of Swords with the number 10, and or this purple agate crystal. All right, so this is going to be the card selection phase. I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip directly to the reading. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. Sorry, pile number 3. Oh my god, where did that come from? Oh, 2 of them just fell out. Okay, tell me about the month of May for pile number 3. What do they need to hear? What is coming into their lives? All right. So let's see. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords, so I see that as a confirmation of the initial card. We have the 10 of Pentacles, we have the 10 of Wands, and we have the 3 of Swords. Ooh. All right. Let's see what else is going to come through. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3, the purple agate group. What is coming in for them in the month of May 2024? What do they need to hear? We have Page of Cups, we have Ace of Pentacles, we have the Hierophant, we have the Page of Swords, the 10 of Wands underneath the 10 of Wands. All right. And we have the Knight of Pentacles. Let's get some oracles. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What is happening for them in the month of May 2024? All right, respect. R-E-S-B-C-T. I'm going to shut up. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What is happening for them? Gratitude. All right, so pile number 3, you have these oracle cards with gratitude and respect, number 26 here. And you have this card, which I have said I think is the Knight of Swords. I'm not 100% sure. You know, I don't know what the suits are called in English 100%, but I think this is a B. I think it's the Knight of Swords, and we also have a Knight of Swords coming through to me, which I saw that as a confirmation of the original energy. And you also have the 10 of Wands coming out twice, and you have a lot of number 10s. And we have this card with respect, which has the number 26, which is basically ruled by Saturn because it boils down to the number 8. So I'm seeing a lot of Saturnian energy here. I'm seeing a lot of focus on career for you in the month of May. I'm also seeing a lot of opportunities. So I'm seeing a lot of opportunities of finances and of your professional life in general. But let me start with the beginning and work my way to the end. So I see that starting out in the month of May, your vitality, your sense of optimism, your sense of faith in yourself and in life is pretty high. I see a great deal of creativity and drive. You're someone who has your eyes on the prize. I feel like for many of you, you have at least 1 or 2 things that you are chasing actively, some kind of a goal that you want to achieve. And I feel like for most of you, this is connected to career and or finances. A lot of creative activity. So I also see that you're a very creative person. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if many of you are, you know, like self-employed, or you are thinking of, you know, branching out on your own, because there's a lot of independent energy over here, and you're definitely focused on getting that coin, you know. There's also this Knight of Swords backed up by the Hierophant over here. So I think that many of you are, first of all, you have a lot of faith, but some of you more negatively, you could be impulsive and you could tend to be a little bit narrow-minded, all right? I'm trying to put it as diplomatically as possible, but I cannot think of a more diplomatic way to put it. I don't know. You might have the blinkers on, okay? Now, the blinkers being on, they could keep you blind from how you treat others, and also they might cause a problem with how you are seen in your career. I feel like this is really connected to why you got the card of respect here with number 26. So I feel like it makes me think of that saying of if you want respect, you should be, or rather respect to be respected. You know, like basically you have to be careful that you treat others with the same kind of respect that you want to see in return. And we have the 10 of Pentacles, so the Page of Swords. I see definitely that. See, here's the thing. You know what the general feeling is here is that you are overly enthusiastic. You are, throwing yourself head first. I see that you might be a little bit disappointed by the end of the month. And I'm sorry to say this right off the bat, but okay, this is my interpretation. Take it with a grain of salt. I am reading for a lot of people. Please don't bail out on the reading just because I said you're going to be disappointed. Hear me out here. Basically, the reason why I think you're going to be disappointed is because your expectations are extremely high, right? I feel like you're someone who has a lot of drive. You're like ready to take over the world. Everybody wants to rule the world by Duran Duran. This is like the feeling that I'm getting here. Also, R.E.S.P.C.T. by Aretha Franklin is coming through. So I feel like you're someone like in kind of a boss bitch era, irrespective of your gender. So you want to get things done and you want everything done by yesterday. And you might be a little bit disappointed by the end of the month because the progress that you're going to be seeing is not going to be as high as you would have hoped initially. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to see progress. In fact, the Three of Swords being backed up by the Knight of Pentacles is telling you that you're definitely on the right track and that you will see some progress by the end of the month. But it's telling me that it's going to be slow to come, all right? I definitely say this focusing especially on career because I don't feel up until this point that you're particularly focused on relationships. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have like good relationships with others during this month or that you may not even meet a potential partner. But I feel like even if you're going to meet a potential partner, most of you are not going to notice them because you're so focused on your professional life and your trajectory. I also see that many of you, honestly, are extremely overburdened. You are probably tired. Some of you may have taken on responsibilities that are not your own. And because the 10 of Wands came out twice here, one under the other, I feel like there's a very strong message from Spirit telling you that if you can delegate any of these responsibilities, you had better do so. You'd better do so. Because it's not your job to fix everyone else, all right? It's not your job to fix the world, And if you are taking care of other people's responsibilities, I don't know, just to give you an example, like you live with a flatmate and you're the one who's always doing the cleaning, you need to have a conversation with that person, right? You cannot take on other people's work and responsibilities, especially when those people can really take care of themselves, because otherwise you're going to be angry, drained, and end up in burnout before you even achieve your professional goals, even though most of your energy is directed towards that. For some of you, though, at the same time, you could also find yourself being burdened by things that you cannot shake off, so you might suddenly find yourself having to take care of a lot of things because there's nobody else to take care of them. And yeah, that might also slow down the progress that you wanted to see with respect to your career and your finances, because suddenly you might find yourself, having to divert your energy towards something else, maybe taking care of others, maybe, taking care of others would be a good one. Or it could even be like your health, you need to take care of your health. So like I said, burnout is a real risk. Be careful not to end up there if you can help it. So these are pretty much the main energies that I am seeing here from the cards. I'm going to get the astrological cards. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What is the month of May 2024 bringing for pile number 3? Sorry. I keep naming you other piles. So if you felt drawn to other piles, of course, feel free to check them out. So let's see. We have communication number 10. Again, number 10. So the 10th house is very strong for you this month, which means career. So you're definitely focused on your career, your finances. We have number 17, freedom. Again, the number 8 here. We have learning. Oh my God, what am I doing? I was like, I feel like this is a sign, so I'm going to take all of them, honestly, because I did say astrological notes and I took out the oracle cards. So we're going to look at all of these now because I feel like there's a reason why Spirit wanted me to take this deck. So we have freedom, we have learning with the number 4, and we have message of freedom. So freedom is coming out strongly, and we have karmic relationship. This one came out in another pile. I'm not going to say which one. So you might want to check it out if you felt drawn to another pile. And I'm also going to take out the astrological notes now. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What is the month of May bringing for them? Aries, not surprising because we have the Knight of Swords energy coming out very strongly. We have Mercury. Okay, so communication again, mind and speech. Mercury is the lord of communication, basically. We have Chiron, healing, inner healing. We have Pluto, shadow and mysticism. And we have Capricorn, the boss. So we have a lot of Saturn, like I was saying. Saturn, Capricorn energy. This one came out now. It makes me think, yeah, I mean, some of you might be dealing with a karmic relationship, see how this resonates, but since there isn't a strong emphasis on relationships in the rest of the spread, I feel like this is an old story for most of you. Either it's an old story or it's a message that, you know, is definitely not going to apply to everyone. But if you are in a karmic relationship, that could have something to do with that 10 of Wands energy. Like maybe you feel like you're doing all the work in a relationship and you have to, you know, maybe cut the person off, really. I mean, or set some boundaries. I mean, hello, RESPACT. Yeah, we have the learning card here with the number 4. So I feel like Spirit might be telling you, for some of you, that it's really important to learn maybe new skills with respect to progressing in your career. Communication, again, is very important. And we have that with Mercury, again, mind and speech. And we also had the Page of Swords coming out earlier. So I think that for many of you, your ability to communicate is going to be very important in developing professionally. So you could be working in a line of work where communication is very used. Like you could be a teacher, preacher, I don't know, like anything where you're using your communication a lot. You could be a writer because it could be any kind of communication, not just verbal, you know, it could be writing, could be even writing music, for instance, you know, any kind of communication that you can think of. So developing something to do with communication would be paramount in you increasing your professional success, reaching the next stage in your profession. And I think that if you are working in a field to do with communication, you're going to be particularly favored this month, and you're going to get some kind of success, some kind of new opportunity. So Aries does not surprise me at all, because like everything that I said early on is further backed up by this energy coming through, that you're probably really impatient, you know, like you want everything very quickly. But you see, it starts out with Aries and it ends with Capricorn. So I feel like by the end of the month, you're going to naturally learn to tone down and to understand that slow and steady progress is better than, you know, taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backward on a regular basis. So yeah, you're going to become more thorough. We also have Pluto, which to me is like I mean, not just to me, it is the ruler of Scorpio in tropical astrology. So I feel like, yeah, you're very intensely focused. Like your energy is very focused on most likely your career, something very specific. And the inner healing here makes me think of Sata Bishak Nakshatra or Aquarius. And yeah, I think like you could be going through some kind of healing of old wounds. For some of you, very specifically, it is about some karmic relationship. But for many of you, irrespective, it's about any kind of emotional wounds that you have had in the past. This is also with Mercury. It's a good time to bond with your siblings, especially younger siblings. It's also a good time to developing maybe multiple streams of income if you have the opportunity. This is also showing that you might be doing more activities with your hands and your arms. So I don't know, playing ping pong, badminton, or maybe some kind of crafts. Whichever the situation, overall, the message is that your intellectual abilities are extremely strong. And these are basically what are gonna bring you the new opportunities and the progress in your career. All right, let me see. Let me get the Astro Dice. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What is the month of May going to bring for pile number 3? Tell me. Okay, so we have Gemini, which is more Mercury energy. We have the number 3 again, which is 3rd house and more Gemini energy. I can't. And we have the South Node of the Moon, which is basically, the South Node, or Ketu in Vedic astrology, is the co-ruler of Scorpio. So we have a lot of Scorpio energy going on for you as well. So this might also be some kind of a significant time of transformation where you're being asked to go within, and you might become particularly resourceful with your time, your energy. You're definitely resilient. And I feel like people around you are going to perceive you to be more closed off than usual, more mysterious than usual, more intense than usual. It also just shows that you're very eyes on the prize about everything. With the Ketu coming through, this is also showing a very strong intuition, creative ability, and it also shows that this month you are best focusing on learning through practical application, and also trusting your intuition and your gut feelings. But with the number 3 and also the Gemini and the Mercury, there's so much mercurial energy here. So this shows that your intellectual abilities are going to be top notch. You're going to be really sharp. And like I said, any activity that involves communication, using your mind, learning new things are going to be favored this month. And also short-term or short-distance travels. And you also might find yourself running more errands than usual. And with the 3rd house, there's also a focus on maybe starting your own business, or focusing on your own business, especially if you have already started working on this. You're encouraged to be more independent, and you're going to be braver, definitely, than usual. So you might be taking on new challenges. The South Node, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm really curious to hear the comments on this one, because I think this might be connected to the karmic relationship thing. So either you might be coming across someone from the past, and this could be like someone from a past life, honestly, like not necessarily someone that you've known. For some of you, it could be someone you've known in the past, or someone that you're going to meet for the first time, but you're going to have this strong feeling like you really know them, or they're going to feel comfortable somehow. In which case, there's a strong indication that they might be a past life contact. So, like, this person somehow could come through. And it's also maybe connected to this healing you have to do. Like, someone is going to trigger some kind of wounds that you have had. For some of you, this is literally a current relationship that you have to rethink somehow, because it might be keeping you stuck. This is what the South Node also speaks. See, the South Node K2 speaks of be careful not to get stuck in your comfort zone and stop growing. So if you have a relationship like that is keeping you from growing, it could be romantic, it could not necessarily be romantic, you need to rethink whether you want that person in your life. Okay, so this is pretty much what I have for you, pile number 3. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, don't forget to like, subscribe, click on the notifications bell if you want to see when I will post a new video. Comment in the comment section with any feedback you would like to give or ideas for future topics that you would like me to cover. And if you're interested in supporting my channel further, you can do so by clicking on the join button, becoming a member in exchange for a small monthly fee. And if you would like to get a private tarot reading, check out the video description. I have left my contact information there. You can email me for a list of reading options with respective prices. And I've also left a link to reviews that I have gotten for private readings if you're curious to see them. And last but not least, I have an astrology channel, which I will be linking in the video description as well. I focus mainly on Vedic astrology, but I also use my insights from tropical astrology since I have more than 10 years in each of these types of astrology experience, 10 years experience, I mean. So if you're curious about astrology, go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe to my astrology channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you in my next tarot reading. Bye!